welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
And Daniel, oh boy, do we have a fun episode.
Oh, this is going to be a longer episode, just so everybody knows, because we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff in this one, but this was an interesting one that I actually came up with, which I found quite hilarious.
I know, that's the wild thing. Normally I come up with like the really kind of off the rails one, but we know we wanted to do a Spiel Jahres, and instead of just like going, oh, okay, well let's just talk about what won, and that's it, right? No, you came up with a really fun episode, and I'm very excited for this one.
Because for those who don't know, we record ahead of time. The Spiel des Jahres just recently got announced for the winners, and so we're like, this is perfect. It'll go up in August after the announcement in July, so we get to talk about that kind of thing. That's right. But it's like, let's make it more interesting on that.
Yeah, exactly. So our topic today is we're going to break down all of the years that the Spiel des Jahres and the Kennerspiel both were in existence since 2011 to this year.
Which is 2025.
2025. And we're going to talk about the games that won, the nominees, and some of the recommendations, and we're going to give our opinion on what should have won.
Yeah. Also, we have the ability where we could agree with what ended up being the pick.
Sure, yeah.
So just to let everybody know, we're not going to outpick like the Kennerspiel winner or the Spiel des Jahres winner. But if we
felt that was the right winner.
That this is the one we think should have won, but here's some of the other stuff that we want to talk about that could have possibly won.
Yes. Yep. So that'll be our episode today.
I'm
not even I'm just so excited for the episode. I'm not even going to make silly banter, make stuff up, because I really want to go into this.
I have a question for you though before we get into it, before we go to what we've been playing and all that sort of stuff. Is do we want to do it from the more recent and work our way back, or from the furthest back all the way forward?
Furthest back forward.
Got it. This way, it just depends on how I got to orient my paper.
That's right. No, I think 2011 will be our first year that we talk about. Because then I can preface it with talking about all the weird shenanigans before that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, Daniel, before we get into today's episode, what have you been playing?
I have some really fun ones here. Some 4 games that I want to talk about that I've played. 2 of which with my other game group, 1 of which you have not played. Actually, I have 2 games on my list here that you haven't played. One of them being Yet. But the first one I'm going to talk about is a more recent one that I actually picked up on my most recent trip to Chicago, which that was fun.
Stop bragging. No.
But if you go listen to our July podcast,
every episode in the past few months. No.
But it was because we were at Good Games Publishing their actual store in Chicago, where I was showing my wife a game, and she's like, "Oh, that's an interesting theme. I like that one. I would play that one." I literally took it off the shelf right then and there. I'm like, okay. Bet.
If my wife said she would play a game, I'm in.
Yeah, so the game I'm going to talk about here is Pergola. First off, it is a theme that she enjoys. It's the theme about gardening. My wife is all about her plants. When we're out of town, like on some sort of trip, as we were in Chicago, as you listen to this live or aired, I would have just gotten back from Denver. So you take care of the yards. And most of the thing, it's not just watching the dogs. They're pretty much self-sufficient because we got a feeder, we got water and stuff like that. Just keep an eye on those levels. You're basically over here to make sure my wife's garden is taken care of.
Make sure it doesn't die as badly.
Yeah, because we get really hot out in here. Yep. But this is Pergola by Rebel Studios, and I don't really want to talk about these names, but Mikhail Gobolowiski and Presnik Wojciechowski. I am sorry. I know I butchered those, but I wanted to give you guys your due. It is such a beautiful game. I love the way someone describes it is this is your player board, but think of your player board as like a canvas. You put your plants however you want. You just group them together. So you got your lavenders here. You got your other type of your honeysuckles or whatever, the honeydews or whatever they are over here. And you got your other plants over here. And that's where you're going to put those gardens, because everything about this game is something's going to score you points at the end of the game, depending on what you're selecting and stuff like that and putting on your board. And what's really neat about this game is the action selection part of it. It's you have the timer. There's 15 tools that you're going to use in a 4-player game, and it's basically a countdown how everybody's going to have 15 turns. And you have a little a seedling pot that you put all your tools in. And that's normally where you store all your stuff, too, at the beginning of the game. And you put your tools in there. This way you can count how many turns you've had. Okay. And so there's a 5, 5, and then 5. So that basically tells you This is a third of the game is done. Now 2/3 of the game is done, and this is my last third I'm working on.
Okay.
And let it get you a nice little countdown. And the tool will have you, this is the resources you collect, and then where it's sitting at is the action you're going to be taking, whether it's moving a frog or planting or moving some bugs and different stuff like that. So it's really neat. The component quality on this one is through the roof. I will say one thing about Rebel Studios is that they have a fantastic production value. As much as I like Meadow, but it's not my favorite game in the whole wide world. I do own it, and I think it's a pretty game.
Yep.
It is well produced, and same thing with Pergola.
So,
yeah. So it's a fantastic game. You should check it out, especially if you're into that kind of thing. It's a simple game with simple mechanisms, but it has a lot of thought to it.
Yep.
And my wife loved it, so it stayed in my collection. We ended up actually dumping a game for it.
Yeah, there you go. So you're doing the one in, one out.
One in, one out, yeah.
I just went through mine and did some. And hey, Board Game Barb.
How's a good one, Board Game Barb?
Hopefully, if you can stick around for a while, cool. If not, no worries. All right, so first game I wanted to talk about was a game that our friend Dom brought over. And at first, that was a roller coaster of a day, right? So I'm going to talk candidly because this is just how it ended up being. So the first two games are both different versions of like polyomino games, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the first one was like more of like a Tetris thing, you're sliding stuff in. That was cool. I liked it.
Helsinki, right? Yep. Yeah.
Second one was Fit to Print, which I'd been curious to play.
That was
more
neat.
of a real-time thing. It's like a good Galaxy Trucker.
It is.
I very much enjoyed it.
The negatives did not hurt you at all.
No.
There were negatives, and there are certain things that would happen, but it didn't make you out of the game.
And I thought, like messing up that way was just silly. Like, because I remember we all finished and we're like, oh man, we're not even close to filling this page.
I could have taken more. What the?
Yeah, it's like, how am I missing a third of my paper? Like, I thought I was picking tiles for hours, Like, it was hilarious, right?
Yeah. And then the special abilities were pretty cool.
Special abilities were really fun, because, like, I had one where it's like, yeah, you'll get 5 points, but you have to take every tile you pick up. It's like, okay. So then there was times where I was just sitting there, it's like, guys, flip them over. Like, I already got kind of what I want, but I kind of want to, like, actually pick some choices here.
Yet I had one that I couldn't take any face-up one, so I had to basically look at my stuff and put it on my table or whatnot. I also like the fact that there was a one-hand roll, so you had to pick it up, put it on your table, flip it, and then put it back if you didn't want it. But you had to make that decision. You can't go in and do, I don't need this one now. Once it stays on your table and you go for a new one, it's got to stay. So it did a really good job.
Yeah, exactly. So it took every excitement that I was ready for, like, Galaxy Trucker and did it, right? Mm-hmm. It worked. But then we played a game called Medieval Academy, which I used to own back in the day.
So did I.
Like, way back in the day.
It's funny.
And I remember I got rid of it because I was like, I don't know. It's just kind of boring, right?
You sold me your copy, and then I ended up selling your copy.
Yes, exactly. I remembered I just wasn't, like, super thrilled with it because I was like, okay, if I want a drafting game, I'll play Sushi Go.
Yeah.
And then we played it, and I remembered, man, this game is trash. Like, I'm sorry. I did not enjoy my time with it at all.
I liked it.
It was just, like, the most monotonous thing in the world. So I was already like good game. Oh man! But then Dom brought out a game. And he was like, okay, I think you'll like this better. It's also drafting. I was like, oh no, don't tell me that. But what he meant was open drafting, right?
Open dice drafting.
Open dice drafting the list. It's not even pick and pass card drafting. It's open.
Which is the thing that bores you the most is pick and pass drafting.
Right. It's so mundane. It takes the game away from the game and puts it right here. And it's like, it's boring. Anyway, so we played it, and I was like, okay, maybe it looks a little complicated, whatever. And we played it, I was like, oh. It has like a little bit of worker placement going involved with it. It has an engine and tableau building.
Yep.
It has some resource management that's really like just an embarrassment of riches. Like everything you do gets you more and more and more.
Yeah.
And I thought at first, I was like, man, like we're not going to get like more than like 4 cards this whole thing.
Yeah, it's like we get 4 turns the entire game. It's so weird.
Well, I calculated. I was like, okay, we have a 3, a 3, a 4, and a 5, right? Mm-hmm. That is like 16 dice. Yeah. I was like, each card has about 3 dice. Okay, so we're gonna get 5 robots. Cool, yeah. That's hardly anything. No, we ended with like 12 each. And because of how things combo, and it's not obvious that they're gonna combo, but they combo.
They combo really well.
It was super neat, very intriguing drafting, cool dice mechanics, great. There was nothing I didn't dislike about the game. Maybe
I love the art too.
I would have to really think about it. But I would have to really kind of force myself to think of something I didn't like. So Spark, super impressive. That's already a Damn It Dom game because I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, no, if I can find a copy of it, I'd pick it up because I thought it was fantastic. Yep. I even rated it on Board Game Geek fairly high. I think I gave it like an 8 or a 9.
Oh, yeah.
Because I enjoyed the mess out of it. I couldn't think of, like you were saying, just like any flaws about it. Yeah. I put it on my wish list that I want to pick up. I enjoyed every bout of it. That the production thing, Geek mailed me like, oh, thank you for your rating. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of like... it's kind of like on top of it. It's like like we talk about Furnace, like how cool of an engine building, and how it just like builds up really, really fast.
Yeah,
that's kind of the same thing, right? Yeah, it's like 4 quick rounds, and man, you just have massive amounts of stuff.
It's like really, we're taking 4 turns the entire game. But what people don't realize is like when you take your turn, I'm still getting a die on that turn.
Yes.
So I basically get at least 1 die on 3 different turns in a round, and then. Also, when you're triggering things, they could possibly give you some dice, usually from the discarded pile, and you just roll it and put it in there. Sometimes you have to take it from the bag and put it to a specific number. But it's just like, oh, that worked really well. Oh, I got this helper now. That's going to cost me less money. Or less things to do that one. Or I'm going to use this guy's ability where I could just ignore this color of this die and put it on there. Yeah. And so it just boom, 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 boom.
It was really, really smart. I liked it a lot.
It was a fantastic. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. All right, the next game I'm going to talk about, we have talked about it a lot. There's not going to be any spoilers on this one, but you and me have talked about doing a review for this, as well as a spoiler cast, so that if everybody wants to listen to that later on, you're more than welcome to, but we will put a big spoiler alert on it, because this is a legacy game. This is Ticket to Ride Legacy, Legends of the West, I think it's what it's called, by Days of Wonder, Rob Davio, Alan Moon,
Matt
Leacock. I couldn't remember the first name of him, but
you're welcome.
Thank you. It's such a fun game. I really did enjoy it. I like all the little different stuff that they added. The story was there. It wasn't a lot of story, but I'd rather have something that has sound mechanism with some storyline in there that makes some fun changes. We enjoyed the mess out of this one. I loved opening everything up and seeing the completed map as we're going through, and everything that it added. Some really neat, really cool stuff. It was also one of our members' first ever legacy game. That we have played campaign games with them, but this is the first time that she's ever done a legacy game. And my wife, who's done legacy games with me before, she preferred this over the original one. Same with my other friend Angel. He preferred this one over because again. We've had this discussion about like legacies and stuff like that. The story was fantastic in that one, but it didn't make a lot of like changes to the mechanics while we're playing the game. So it's basically you're playing the same game, and I'm talking about Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Yeah. You're basically playing Pandemic over and over again. You're not doing too much different in your the mechanisms of the game. This one, you're still doing certain things over and over again, but it does add certain different layers when you do certain things based on what you have open through the map. You're still basically playing a core Ticket to Ride game with some added layers as you're going on, and I really did like that. Yeah, the story is not as strong as Pandemic Legacy Season 1, but that's fine, because my group, my wife and Angel, who have both played Pandemic Legacy Season 1 with me, said they will never go back to that again. They would play Ticket to Ride Legacy to the West hands down a second time if we bought a second copy of it, because we enjoyed it that much. It was a fantastic game. And honestly, what I like about this one, for those, and this is the slightest spoiler out there, is the fact that if you've played this before, it actually has something set in there for you. This way it helps you out in that aspect of the game too. So I like that. If there's one person who's done this before, it's like, oh, you're going to do this instead of what this is doing. And I do like that. I think that is smart for people that multiple play legacies. So Ticket to Ride, Legends of the West Legacy.
Cool. Next game I want to talk about is a game that I don't know if you've gotten off your shelf of shame or not yet, but we just both got it in the mail about last week. And it's a game that we're very excited to play.
I haven't played it yet. I was actually just bagged and tagged it right now.
So I played it this last Friday. In fact, this is the second time I've played it, thanks to Level 99 Games, who let me play a pre-production copy of it. I got to go to their studio and try out Spooktacular. And I played it again, and it was really interesting because my son, he invited one of his teenage friends over, for game day, and it's like, hey, can we play games with you? Sure, yeah, come join us, whatever. And this kid had never played anything other than like Monopoly or Clue, so already I was like, okay, like,
all right, time to
I was like,
you keep your kids off the street. Bring them to my house. I'll be a different type of crack dealer.
Exactly, right? and I'm okay, like, teaching them, like, these new games, ones that I really enjoy, because, like, if you're not exposed to stuff like that, you're not going to know, like, why people are super passionate about it. Like, video games are easy to explore because you just click download and then you got the game, right?
Yeah.
You watch enough YouTube videos about it, right? But board gaming, it's a harder thing, but I think it's a really important thing that'll bring families together. So Spooktacular, the idea is you are one of the monsters that escape the movie theater screen. You're in a movie theater, and the way it works is that every character essentially wants to either spook the guests, scare them to other rooms, or you want to devour them, which you're getting kind of sets of different colored meeples, and just moving around the room and manipulating it. Here's the catch. There are 20 different monsters, each with their own mechanisms entirely. We played 4 of the easier ones. I was the Night Slayer, which is like the hard rocker, heavy metal kind of guy. My friend Jim was the killer car. That was hilarious.
So he was Christine.
Huh?
He was Christine.
Yeah, exactly. My son was the Doom Box, which is had cassette tapes.
Yeah.
That would upgrade. And then his friend played one that I don't remember off the top of my head.
Was it the Blob?
No, it wasn't the Blob. I know it wasn't the Blob. Because a lot of like what he was doing is he was building this engine of like, if once you collect certain colors of meeples, every turn you do it, you activate all of them and their abilities. And one of them was you lose 2 points flat out, but then you immediately spook everything that's in your room. So everyone's trying to like get everything out of his room before his turn. So he's like, come on, because otherwise he gets a free really beneficial action.
Yeah.
Because the way spooking works is that you scare a number of meeples from your room, movie guests, right? And only one can go out each door per spook. So if I'm in a room with 3 doors and I spook them, 3 of them jump out, and I get 3 points, 1 per meeple. Now, if I spook twice and there's 6 of them in there, then I get 6 points, 3 and then 3, right? Mm-hmm. So his was all about spooking right at the beginning of his turn, right? And doing all these combos. My character, the Night Slayer, he was all about just I'm going to play a card, then play a card, then play a card, then do this, and then play a card, then play a card, then play a card. And kind of just keep comboing like that, which was pretty fun. So all of them have their own little mechanisms on how they combo. Some of them have really wildly different mechanisms. Jim's character kept jumping around. The killer car would move constantly, which makes sense. It's a killer car, right? Yeah. My son's he would build up the cassettes, and so he'd have these tracks that he's going up and doing the actions that build up get better. So absolute hilarious time, really fun, ended super quick. I was really surprised at how quick that was. It was maybe 30-minute game once we got the hang of it. And yeah, it's just a good old fun time. I can't wait to delve into the other characters. But what cracked me up most is I looked on Board Game Geek for some of the reviews, and there's some where I love the theme, this is silly, this is great, and then every once in a while there'll be absolute unbalanced trash. It's whoa! It's not that unbalanced, but I get why you think that.
It got a Dice Tower Seal of Excellence, so...
Yeah, one person said, it cracked me up, they reviewed, it's well, this is no, Root, Vast, or, Spirit Island. It's what were you expecting? Those are way... And he even specifies, this is obviously much simpler, but it's just, I don't know, it kind of fell flat. It's well, if that's the games you're playing, then this shouldn't have been the one you picked next.
I think he picked it because it's such an asymmetrical game. Yeah. He was expecting, a hardcore depth, coin-operated fighting system. And this is
definitely not that.
No. It's I'm moving these random pieces to get my engine working for how mine specifically does. I haven't even played it, and I thought that was a neat aspect of it. Exactly. I love horror movies a lot, so that's why Final Girls
I think your game group will really like this.
Well, it's funny, because that's I'm actually taking it to them next week, or this weekend, actually, to play it. And that was one of the things I was bagging and tagging. So all the ones that are just like player pieces, I put in one bag, because there's no reason to separate them.
There's no reason.
Everything that had like their own little player pieces, or like the ones that, the blob where it has like 10 different pieces, that's in one bag by itself. Same thing with the collar that has like the different phones. He's in one bag. Deadline, yeah. So he's in his own bag. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to playing it. It's like my kind of good.
You'll like it a lot, I think. I'm pretty sure your game group will like it. You will like it a lot.
Oh yeah. There's no kidding about that. Yep. So the next game I'm going to talk about is one that we played on, which turned out to be my picks, that I had to learn games after our trip to Albuquerque. Yeah. I was like, oh god,
your pick.
Yeah, my surprise pick. Yeah, because me and Damn It Dom were going to switch. Because we're playing a campaign game, and we were expecting our friend Gamehead Geek to join us, and he couldn't make it that time because he was still stuck at work, and so it ended up turning into my pick. So the first game I played with Damn It Dom while we were waiting for you to show up, and at the time we were also waiting for Gamehead Geek because we didn't know he was going to cancel just then. I'm like, all right, this is a simple game, we'll just play this one and then we'll go from there. And the game I picked was Lucha Wars from Backspindle Games, Leonard Boyd and David Bradshaw. This dice-chucking, Lucha Libre looking game made by the same team as Luchador Dice.
It's the same publisher, but different designers.
So you build this whole ring like a wrestling ring, like Lucha Libre. If where we're at, we're very familiar with Lucha Libre because we're out by the Mexican border, so they bring their stuff over here all the time. And what's cool about it is there's some dexterity. I was expecting more of a dexterity game, but there is some. It's more basically battle Yahtzee. You're just trying to beat the punches over your opponent, and then you can re-roll your like movement dice if there's like a little arrow. So there's blanks, there's punches, and there's arrows. You can re-roll them and try to beat the total of your opponent to do damage to them, because every time you win that battle you get to move up on your track, which means you can start doing like special abilities, or maybe go for a pin on your opponent where they have to do like a dice roll and try to get out of there. And so it's really neat when you're doing that aspect, but what makes it even more fun is when you're doing those dice roll, you're doing them in the ring with your player pieces in the ring. And if your dice roll out of the ring, they're out for that round. So you're trying to chuck your dice in there without getting your dice out of there and trying to compete against your opponent. So if you roll blanks in the ring, they're worth nothing. The only re-rolls you could do are the arrows. And if you roll blanks on those, you're stuck with them. If you roll another arrow, you're stuck with that as well. But if you get a fist, oh, that's cool. And so it's really neat how that works. And then, like I said, there are some shenanigans, because if you get to a certain point, you can claim a weapon. You draw one off the top. And the weapons basically are your dexterity game, because there was one point where I was trying to do like a special move off the corner. And so I put my opponent's character, Damn It Dom's character, on the corner, and I take one of my dice and I try to flick it, and if I knock him off, I do so much damage. If I miss, which I did, he actually jumps off the corner and hits me for a certain amount of damage. And then you have an ability of climbing, doing a ladder match in there, so you could use that section to move up the rung of a ladder. And if you both somehow get up at the top of the ladder, you do a roll off and battle it out, so that you might push that opponent off the ladder and end up winning the match that way. Oh, and in my favorite, we didn't try it because he basically just knocked me out with a special move, which is kind of neat, because he played this one character where he just did 8 damage to me if he hit a certain thing with his one special die. And it's like, good God, man. And that took like half my life. And then if you do successfully pin an opponent using the pin, they have to roll their dice, and they have to either get 3 blanks or 3 arrows to actually kick out of the pin, and they have 3 rolls to do that. And so it actually encourages you when they're making that roll and they don't succeed, 1, and they do it again, 2. So if they don't make it, 3, and then you call the match. So they encourage that. But also, if you hit it on your first roll, it's called a reverse pin, and you force your opponent now to do it.
So that's very similar to Luchador Dice.
So
I forgot about how much I enjoyed that.
I like everything about this one. It was fantastic. I actually picked this up on our Tucson trip. I saw it there, and you're like, that's everything I like about dice game, and like you beat me to it. So
you beat me to it. I'm looking forward to when you show me how to play that.
Lucha Wars, no, it's a fantastic game. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Now, penultimate game I wanted to talk about today was a small little card and dice game called Pick It. I bought this about a year ago.
Excuse you.
Yeah, you heard
this
me.
is a family-friendly show.
Right. Pick it. And I bought this about a year ago in a local shop down in El Paso. And I remember I played it and I enjoyed it. But we finally stocked it in our store. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then I'm gonna start teaching it. You know.
I'm trying to remember this one because I remember playing this one with you.
You have not played this one. I don't believe so.
It's yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Maybe you have. Yeah. But
it's double K, right? P-I-K-K-I-T?
Nope. P-I-K-I-T. And so Pick It, the idea of the game is that you are kaiju monsters, right?
Yeah, we played this one.
You did? Okay, cool. So you have your kaiju monsters, and basically on your turn you roll 2 dice and collect some kaijus. The most points at the end of the game wins. So you have 8 cards in front of you. Let's say there's a 9, a 1, an 8, a 1, you know, etc., etc. You roll 2 dice, and let's say you roll a 1 and a 6. What you can do is you can either combine the 2 dice and take the 7. You can either take two cards, one being the 6 and one being the 1, or either of those two. Or you could take a single card, which is the difference of them. 6 minus the 1 will let you get the 5. Now, all of these matter because they all have special abilities. Like, for example, the 1s, their special ability is that they're only worth 1 point at the end of the game, which, by the way, the numbers that you're picking is also how much their points are worth. So the 1s are worth 1 point per, but whoever has the most ones gets a bonus 15 points, which is pretty wild. Then we also have like 3s, for example. If I have 3s, one of the abilities of one of the cards is you discard it, and you steal a card from another player randomly, which normally you want to try and get a really high value. But if you steal a 3 from me, instead you discard it and you get a wound, which is minus 3 points. Haha, shame for you. Otherwise, you normally keep it. There are ones where you can re-roll your dice or set a die to it. The higher the number, the better. There's one where you can choose any number or any of the actions above. There's one where you can cancel one of the actions, etc., etc. But probably my favorite action is that the 8s, they're not anything special. But if you roll an 8, instead of just taking one of the 8s, you take all of the 8s that are available amongst the things. So, finally, if you roll doubles, you can pick a card that is worth 15 points, but you keep its token in front of you. So that way people will remember, hey, guess what? He's got the 15-point card. And if you have 3 of those in front of you, you better believe we're all stealing now from this point. Because, of course, we are. Yeah. And so... And it's just such a cool production, too. The cards are, like, thinner cards. They're almost like domino-sized cards. But underneath there's, like, a little tray for the cards. Yeah. That has a discard and a draw pile. But underneath that, they felted the bottom of the box, so you can use it as a dice tray. And on the side of the box, they even have a reference to how many of each of the cards are. So it's a really nice production. I think it's Repos. I might be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's Repos. Beautiful production. Really inexpensive. Silly, quick little 15-minute dice game, and just absolute shenanigans. And, like, it's not the most balanced. You're rolling dice, and if you roll a lot higher than I do, then yeah, you'll probably get more points. But still, it's fine. It's good for what it does. And I actually really enjoyed playing it, and that was actually a hit of the night. A lot of people really enjoyed their time playing
it. Nice. I played this a year ago. April 2024 is when you brought it over. And I remember this was one of your picks. I'm like, I remember this one. Yeah. And I remember liking it, but not needing to go out and get it. But now you
probably don't remember how to play prior to me explaining it, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't remember it at all.
Yeah, no, we played it, though. Yeah, I remember the name, because I'm like, oh, I've been looking at that. Yeah, I wasn't enamored with it, but I found it fine.
Yeah. Out of playing it throughout the game night, very fun. Nice. We enjoyed it a lot.
All right, the last game I'm going to talk about is a game that I've been wanting to get played for a while off my shelf of shame. It's been sitting there for a good bit. I got it on a discount deal. I think it was like a Nerds deal of the day or something like that. And I actually have the co-op expansion for it. Just never got it. I picked it up on one of our Book Bins runs. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm glad I finally played it because this is a game that I really enjoyed. I thought it was really neat. And this is In the Hall of the Mountain King from Burnt Island Games. Designers Jay Cormier and Graham Johns. I love the mechanism of the trolls where you're putting them in there and then they're cascading down as they're triggering as you go. But you want to be like careful when you do it because you only get 10 trolls. And once you get your 10th troll, there's no more resources that you're going to get. Right. So... I liked how that worked.
That was a really clever mechanism.
That is I was going to say, that was like one of the most clever mechanisms I've seen in a board game. And I wish more things did it because it was really neat. It's like, I can get 10 times of my resources in a sense. Like, I can get them triggering somewhat, like, 3 times at the most, because you're basically building a pyramid. Once you get your 10th troll, because it's 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like 10th, right? Or 9th?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah. Once you get that 10th troll, and it triggers everything down, but you have no more resources really to do any more actions in the entire game, unless you have some spell things that allow you to manipulate things as well. Mm-hmm. Because it's inefficient to turn other resources into one resource, because I think it was like a 4 to 1.
4 to 1.
Yeah, it's 4 to 1. 4, don't matter what it is, just like for any resource into one resource that you specifically need. Yeah. And that is very inefficient in a sense. I like the fact that you're building out the tunnels. My gripe about this game is just the way the statues work is like it's not very clear. Mm-hmm. Especially when like, oh, we're supposed to pull this off when someone scores them and this and that kind of thing. So it was a little weird on that one, but the game itself was really good. How you're building out and you're trying to put these statues, you're trying to claim these different workshops because you can trigger special abilities by using workshops, and based on how many times you go into that workshop, you get to do that ability twice, or that many times. So if I have all 4 openings covered within my network, then I can do that workshop's ability 4 times. But if I only have 2, then I can only do that workshop ability twice. But if, say, I'm in another workshop, I could trigger that one twice and that one once, then heck yeah, that's kind of cool. I like what that does. I love the spell powers. Like, once the 3 spells go on there, the card's wiped and a new one comes out. So there's some, like, really powerful stuff in there, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, now it's gone. And that kind of thing. It's like, oh, no. But then you have, like, these, the way you're scoring your points is basically excavating as you're going through, and you want to make sure you have the right kind of material to get the most points. Because if you're doing it in stone, it'll only give you so many points. And if you're doing like a basic, like a 2 tile, then you get no points if it's stone. But if you go into iron, it's going to be worth a little bit more points, even at the 2 level. But if you go into, I forget what it was, like Heartstone or something like that, that's where you're going to make most of your points. Because if you do like a 2 Heartstone, it's still like 8 points when you do that. So it's like, ooh, how do I trigger those up there and get that much? Okay, I got to collect all my Heartstone right now and just hope for the best. Once that happens, like boom, boom, boom. All right, there's 15 points. And what I have to say about this game, it is really well balanced. Because I think towards the end of the game, that's when it turned into a runaway. But for the entire game, we were like neck and neck. Everybody was just hopscotching each other as we're going up the score track. And I like that aspect where it keeps it close until you basically get into the final score. And it's like, oh, this triggers. And then that's when it became a beatdown. But throughout the game, you didn't feel like you were out of the game. It's like, oh, all right, I'm in second place now. All right, I can jump into first place. Oh, no, I lost first place already. But it's just the way it hopscotch, you feel you're still in the game until you get in the final scoring. And then I was like, oh, I'm done scoring. All right, there's 30 points there. There's 40 points there. But it kept me engaged the entire time we were playing. It is a problem on the multiplayer solitaire because I did not give what you guys were doing. We were not talking to each other all that much. More along that we all stayed to relatively our sides of the board.
At one point, Dom and my tiles were kind of close.
Kind of close, yeah.
That was the most.
Yeah, I was going like around this corner, like in my little section here, and then you guys were kind of maybe hanging out together in that one, but you spread out more this way, and you're like, oh no, I can get more points by going this way into his area. That's about it, but it was still a fantastic game. I loved everything about it. I want to play it again in the Hall of the Mountain King.
Awesome. And last game I want to talk about is a game that I had not played for in a while. But it played in a while, and it has been in my collection for a long time. And at the request of my buddy Jim, we brought it back out into the table, and I played it with the one last expansion I hadn't played yet with it. This was Castle Panic with the Crowns and Quests expansion.
Nice.
And I had like the wooden one, so I had the big old crate. And so my friend Jim was like, yeah, we like Castle Panic, let's bring it out. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we haven't played in a while. And so I had to learn how to play the Crowns and Quests. So the way it works is, if you're familiar with Star Trek Panic, it's similar to that aspect. You have...
The 5-year mission tape thing?
Yeah, exactly. And so you have a number of standard quests, and then you have endgame quests. There is, like, no joke, 12 standard quests and, like, 8 more endgame quests. And you shuffle them up, and you pick one at random for each of those. And if you survive the standard quest, you go on to the endgame quest. If you beat that one, you win. But the biggest difference between these is that if you run out of tokens from the bag, you don't just automatically win like you do in normal Castle Panic. No, all those tokens come back into the bag. So bosses you've defeated, terrible things that have happened, they might come back, and they did during that game. And so, the first one that we did, the first quest we did, oh, and by the way, we each have our own special character that's designated to a tower. So if your tower falls, you jump to another tower. If you run out of towers and you can't do that,
you lose.
Your character is just no longer getting their ability. So here's what happened. The quest that we got, we had to send, there was 3 tokens out on the board, and we had to find like this mystical scroll. And there was one on like the forest ring on 1, 3, and 5. Mm-hmm. And they were mixed up randomly. Only one of them was correct. The other 2 were fails. And we had to send a scout by discarding cards to move them over to it. And once they get to it, you reveal it. And if you're wrong, then too bad. Then you have to get them over to the other side of the board, and move them around. But anytime they enter a space with a monster or a monster enters their space, you have to roll. And as long as you roll higher than the total health from the monsters, it stays in the game. Okay, cool. But the caveat to that...
It's you playing dice games in co-op?
No, the caveat is you had to draw 3 monsters per turn because you were being swarmed. So there's a big incentive. And you have to discard cards to move this character. So it's like, do you spend your cards holding the monsters back, or do you do this? There was one turn, no joke, Jim pulled 10 monster tokens in one turn. Because of the combination of the 3, we drew the 3 more, we drew the 4 more, we drew the king. And we drew 4, or no, it might have been the other way around, but yeah, we drew 10 tokens that one turn. When we beat the first scenario, and we can finally go back to only drawing 2 monster tokens, we had 1 tower left. And if all 6 of them fall, you lose. Or it was like shortly after that. This game took us 3 hours because we were so meticulous and really focusing. It's like, okay, let's weigh every option. It's like, although we really want to block this guy, let's put the wall on the opposite side of our 1 remaining tower in case a giant boulder rolls that number. This is what we got to plan. This is the level we need to plan for. And we won. Barely. It was, and we both sat back and were like, that was the most satisfying win we've ever had of this darn game. God, do I love this game. Like, that just reminded me why it's always, like, in my top, 20 games of all time. It was so epic. It was so close. It was nail-biting. It was intense. It felt strategic. My God, Castle Panic is so good.
That's awesome.
I love it. So, Castle Panic, that was what I've been playing lately. And now we're going to get into today's episode. Today, we're talking about the Spiel Jahres.
And the Kennerspiel.
And the Kennerspiel Jahres winners. From 2011 through this year, 2025, and we're going to talk about which games should have won. So we'll talk about the nominees, some of the highlights of recommendation games, and now, so let's clarify why we're doing this. First off, Daniel here collects all of the Kennerspiels.
You can see him right behind you.
Yeah. Do you collect them now just because you're like, well, I'm already in it? Like, even if there's a bad game in the Kennerspiel, like, if let's say next year you don't like the one that wins, are you going to keep it still?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same reason why, like, I've gotten away from, like, collecting all the Phil Walker Hardings and then just keeping the ones that I like. Because, one, he's a very prolific guy. So, yeah. I keep one because it's really rare. But that's my least favorite of all his stuff. But I just recently got rid of Sushi Roll. And it's fine, but I have limited space. So, like, the Kennerspiels, that's not a problem. As well as, like, I keep all the Stonemeyers and I keep all the Stefan Felds.
And most Thunderworks, right?
Yeah, I'm just missing, like, the 2-player one. I'm still waiting on my Citizen of the Spark, and I emailed them today. And they're resending me my copy, so...
Oh, cool.
But yeah,
I have a bunch of collections like that too, right? Like I'll collect every Sid Saxon, Phil Walker Harding as well, all the Stefan Felds I can get a hold of. But yeah, and I own all 41 or 43, however many.
There's a lot of Spiels,
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and
some of them are not that good.
No, and I will be the first to admit that some of these, which we'll be talking about, they're not as good, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about why I think they're not as good and what should have won that year. And which years were really, like, top-notch.
The thing we're doing for us is that we're going to be basically talking about the 2011 on, because that's when the Kennerspiel actually started. The Spiel Jahres has been around since the 70s. You're going to go into a little detail about that before we get going, so just let everybody know. But The way we're doing it is we're going to, again, as he said, we're going to tell you the winner, the nominees, the recommendations, and, give a whole discussion topic of each year. We're going to go from 2011 to 2025. But before we get into that aspect of it, go ahead and go to your little fun Kenner or Spiel Jahres thing over here.
Yeah, so here's part of it, right? Like, we both really enjoy a lot of these games. I've been an avid collector for a long time. But, they've been around since 1979, and it's specifically in Germany. And so some of their picks, hindsight is 2020.
They do have a big rule, is that they have to be printed in German for them to be nominated. So.
Right. So, and I won't be talking about any games where it's like, oh, this game came out that year. How did they not pick it? Because there's a lot of reasons. But these were some of the outliers that I wanted to bring up, just real quick to give a little bit of a preface before we actually break down. So first off, the first year was 1979 that they offered that award, and they just picked anything that was available, and so
which makes sense.
Yeah, which does make sense, right? Because they couldn't pick specifically that year. First off, there wasn't that many board game publishers around that time. There was like Ravensburger, and that was about it, especially in Germany. But so like one of the nominees. Like, what ended up winning was Hare and Tortoise, first off.
Which is Around the World in 80 Days now?
It's Around the World in 80 Days now. But they had nominated, like, Acquire and stuff, which was from 1962. So that's to show you a little bit of the idea, right? But that's okay. They caught up a little bit. Here's one of the weird ones. 1981 is the only game that Sid Saxon has ever won for the Spiel Jahres. And it was a game called Focus.
Oh, that's a weird one.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It was also nominated that year. Can't Stop. Focus is a cool game. It's an abstract strategy game.
Yeah.
But Can't Stop was also nominated that year.
Can't Stop is still, you could find anywhere. Like, I mean, you could probably find Focus. Some people are still publishing it more than likely. But Can't Stop, I find in stores all the time. I own a newer version of it.
And it's still being talked about. The following year, Enchanted Forest won, which is it's a clever little game. It's like you move around, you're trying to remember what like symbols. It's kind of like a pick up and deliver, but like on the bottom of these trees, there's symbols on the bottom of it. It's a decent kids game. You know what was also nominated that year? Also Can't Stop. Yeah, exactly. And unless my sources were wrong, because I pulled this off of the Board Game Geek list, the Board Game Geek wiki that was on. That was on Board Game Geek. Can't Stop was nominated for both of those years.
And lost both times.
And lost both of them. One was his accent, but I think they were like, okay, well, let's just bring it back anyways, because and then still didn't win. That was a bizarre one. But again, this was year 3 and year 4, so they were still learning about it. 1988, a game called Barbarossa won, which is kind of like it's kind of like a clay version of Pictionary. Yeah. It's from Klaus Teuber.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the Catan guy, right?
Yep,
yeah,
and that was also the year that What the Heck came out, which has been reprinted a million times, where you have 15 cards, numbers 1 through 15. You all bid, but duplicates cancel each other out, which is hilarious. Brilliant game. So that would have been my pick. 1997, Mississippi Queen won, which is a racing game. Cool components, great game. Guess what was also made that year?
97?
Yep.
Do I have it?
You do have it.
Bonanza?
Bonanza. Right. Who talks about Mississippi Queen now? We're still going with Bonanza. They're still making new versions of Bonanza. It's awesome.
Yeah, Dahlia, or the new Dahlia one's coming out.
Yep. So that was 97. 2002, Via Paletti won, which is a dexterity. You have like weird...
Who is this one again? Via Paletti. I'm trying to remember the designer.
I don't remember the designer. No, he's a one-time like designer. Like this was his game. I think. Yeah. So Via Paletti won, which is a cool dexterity game. Like you have these weird pillars of different heights, and you're trying to move them up to higher levels and stuff. It's a versus.
What
game.
Year is this?
2002. And I understand why this game did not win, but there was another one that was that was pretty glaring, and it's still being printed today.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, okay, I see that. Honestly, I think Puerto Rico would have won if the Kennerspiel was around.
That's what I was thinking too. 2000. I'll come back to 2009, but 2010, Dixit won, which was right before they had the Kennerspiel, and I think Jaipur should have won. That would have been their first 2-player games, and I think they were still
very hesitant about that. Yeah,
to do a 2-player game because it's a family game of the year. And Dixit is a fine game for those who like it. It did.
I like the Disney version.
I'm just not a big fan of Dixit personally. I think like all the other ones, I use the Dixit mechanisms. I
do
think
it better.
Do it cleaner. Yeah,
Mysterium.
But Jaipur is just so top notch.
I will say this: I'd rather play Dixit over Obscurio. I did not like Obscurio.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it has a hidden trader too.
Well, not even that, but you're making such a simple game with a hidden trader on there. It just doesn't really work properly.
Really. Yeah, not really. All right, so this was the fun one. 2009, Finca was nominated, and we know which one won. Right?
Yeah.
Dominion won, right?
Yeah.
And arguably, Dominion makes sense. But you know what? Also, this is the reason I bring it up because Finca is a phenomenal game. I think if Dominion wasn't nominated, we said Finca probably would have won. You know what else was nominated that year?
No.
Pandemic.
That was a strong year.
That's a heavy-hitting year.
That was a strong year.
You and me are just both like, whoa. So, that, I think because of 2010, or 2009, with like stuff like Pandemic losing out to Dominion, and a lot of other games being lost out to, they needed that Kennerspiel.
Yeah.
They needed that opportunity where they could be like, okay, let's put some heavier games in here. Let's recognize them.
I don't know when they did it, but when did they start the Kinderspiel?
Kinderspiel was before that, but it was, I don't remember exactly when, but I think it was like maybe 10 years before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now real quick, but why don't we start with 2011, right?
Sure.
Going into this one, so this is going to be a fun one.
We'll
Go ahead
flip the coin and see who talks about it first. Here we go. I'll be starting us off. So the Spiel Jahres in 2011, the winner was Quirkle.
Yeah.
Okay? Which, honestly, the only reason... There's two reasons I do like it. I think it's a fun tile-laying game. I think it's an interesting puzzle. It's very accessible. I get it. And also...
89, the Kinder started, by the way.
89, cool. And also, it's designed by somebody who shares my name. Her middle name is McKinley. So there we go. That's cool. But was also what was nominated that year was Forbidden Island and Asara. What do you think should have won between those?
Forbidden Island and what was the other one?
Asara and Quirkle. And now we haven't played Asara. At least I haven't.
I honestly think it should have been Forbidden Island, but that's my personal favorite because Quirkle is very hard on my eyes. But that's just me being
and that's part of the factor, right? It's really not colorblind friendly. No. I'm sure they've made better versions, they haven't. But not really.
Not really.
What was also nominated, and here's the weird part, Skull.
Okay, yeah.
Mondo, which is like a cool little puzzle game. It's by Michael Schacht. Luna, by Stefan Feld.
How in the heck is Luna nominated for the Spiel?
And Castles of Burgundy.
That one I couldn't understand more than Luna. Luna's a mean game.
It's a mean game. And Castles of Burgundy, I get it, but this was also the first year of the Kennerspiel. Why was that not Kennerspiel? I'm sure they were probably just trying
because
to...
there is a Kennerspiel, Feld in a Kennerspiel.
Yeah, that's true. That was like the year of Feld. With,
he's got 3 games nominated, 1 in the Kenner and 2 in the Spiel.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Forbidden Island honestly should have been the winner of all of those. My heart says Castle of Burgundy, but I don't realistically think that should have won the Spiel Jahres.
I don't. Yeah,
that would have been the heaviest game. Including El Grande, right?
Yeah. El Grande is not that heavy either.
No.
It's mainly because of the cube tower.
Yeah, exactly. But Forbidden Island definitely should have been there.
All right, so you have the 2011 winner for the Kennerspiel being Seven Wonders, but also nominated was Strasbourg from Stefan Feld in a game called Lancaster, which I'm not very familiar with.
Lancaster.
Yeah,
I don't think I've played it.
That was it. There was no recommendations. These are the 3 games that were nominated. Okay. There was no recommendations for this one. I haven't played either of the other 2. Strasbourg is kind of hard to find in the States. Mm-hmm. We are finally getting a reprint of it in the Queen City collection called Valencia, so I'm looking forward to that. We both back that.
Of course, yeah.
Expensively, so. Yeah.
I'm going to hold my judgment for that, but I will say I do think they picked the right one.
Yeah, I think that's what I said, too. I agree. I think Seven Wonders is the best out of the 3. Again, because I haven't played the other 2, I can't really make a sound decision. And then, like I said here on my note, I agree reluctantly.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that if they put Seven Wonders as a Spiel nominee, I think that would have been too heavy.
Yeah.
But I do think they should put Castle
as a connoisseur,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting what they did in 2011. You want to go into 2012s now?
2012, here we go. In 2012, I noticed this was not a very strong year, but I very much have my choice here. 2012 Kingdom Builder from Donald X. Vaccarino. This was his second Spiel de Jahres winner, right after Dominion, just 4 years later. What was also nominated was Las Vegas and Elsebrücke, which I don't know what that is.
Ooh, Vegas would have been my pick.
Yeah, Las Vegas, right? Rudiger Dorn. That made perfect sense. But, oh well, what can you say? Yeah, I agree. Vegas would have been my pick. 100%. Las Vegas should have beaten Kingdom Builder.
Yeah, no.
And don't get me wrong, I like Kingdom Builder too, but
I don't like Kingdom Builder all that much. I had to pull something up because I forgot to write down the other nomination for 2012 in the Kennerspiel, so I had to just pull that up real quick.
That's fine.
The 2012 nominees were Village, K2, and Targi for the Kennerspiel. All three are good. I like Village a lot. It's a nice little worker placement game. How the families keep dying off in a sense, and so that's your timer, is you're filling up the graveyard. So that was really intriguing to me. You also had a recommendation list of like Friday, Hawaii, and Ora et Labora.
Ora et Labora. Yeah, it's an Uwe.
Oh, okay. But so out of those three, which would you have picked? The K2, Targi, and Village.
So I've played Hawaii. It's a clever little game. It's pretty neat what it does. Friday, if I might be wrong of which one that is.
I think that is the Friedman Freeze.
Yeah, I'm just curious. It might be.
Yeah, I think it's the solo Friedman Freeze. Yes. Yep.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have touched
a solo game. No.
But that's a really clever solo game. But I think Targi is my favorite of those, and I think it should have won.
For me as well, that was my pick. I thought Targi should have been the winner.
What was the winner again?
Village.
Yeah, I think Targi should have won.
I liked... Both of them are good worker placement games. I think the reason why they went with Village is because it's longer and it plays more players.
Yeah.
And again, I think they were very hesitant with two-player games because it took, till 20-something, the Spiel de Jahres, to finally get a two-player winner, and it was like 2024.
2024, yeah.
And this is an award that's been around since the 70s, so...
Now, and granted, like, they've nominated abstract strategies before. Like, a couple in the GIF series were nominated. Or not nominated, but recommended.
Yeah.
But they've never pulled the trigger on it until Sky Team.
But the thing is, like, I like Village. I think it's a fantastic game.
It is.
But it plays... Like a lot of other worker placements, the real hook of it is that your family members will die off and they'll fill the graveyard, and that's your countdown tracker. What Targi is such a smart little two-player game where you're not only getting the spots that you put your worker in, you have two workers. Not only are you getting that, you're also getting the cross-section of that. Right. But you also have like this one person that blocks your certain thing. So I like everything what Targi does, and it's such a clever and unique resource management worker placement game that fulfills contracts in a sense. And I think it does what it needs to do fantastically. More so than Village. I like Village a lot. I have it right behind. I got the big box behind you over here.
That's one of the better ones of the Kennerspiel. Yeah, I mean, I agree. But it's just... Targi was just so revolutionary, and it's still being printed today. Village, it did get printed, but it's still on and off. So, all right, that was... Oh, and by the way, I didn't say anything for extra nominated recommended games for 2012. And that's because they really weren't that good. Let's be real. Las Vegas was definitely the standout for that. 2013, here we go. Okay, this coin likes me today. 2013, Hanabi was the winner. And that went up against the other nominees, Quicks and Rise of Augustus. What do you think?
I think Hanabi should win, but I personally prefer Quicks.
I prefer Rise of Augustus, but again, I really enjoy Hanabi. Very much so. I think Hanabi is a brilliant game. And I get it. Like, Hanabi is still being played. Yeah. Quicks is still being played.
Yeah.
Rise of Augustus, not as much.
Didn't it become like Via Nebula or something like that? Like a magical theme on it?
Yeah, there was another... Via Magica.
Via Magica, yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, it's still a really clever game. But also that year was nominated Escape, Curse of the Temple, and Libertalia.
Ooh, Libertalia. Now that we played the new version... I played both versions. I kind of like the new one. Stonemaier just is a little bit more streamlined.
Enjoy that version, yeah.
It's a little more streamlined than the original one, but it's Paul Amore, man. You can't go wrong. But out of the ones you were saying, I think my pick would have been Quicks, just because... But again, it's also a roll and write, so it's
which they have never won. A roll and write has never won. But, yeah.
But roll and write has never won in general in the Kenner as well, so...
Yeah.
So 2013...
Whereas Hanabi is my pick. I do think they made the right choice.
Yeah, I think they made the right choice as well. 2013, this was an interesting one for the Kennerspiel. Your picks were the recommended, the nominee. Oh, hold on. Let me go to recommended, because this is interesting. These are two good games in the recommended as well. Mm-hmm. You had Tzolk'in the Mayan Calendar, which is a neat worker placement game. Yeah. And then you also had Terra Mystica. Now, I haven't played, but everything I've seen of it is really good.
It's way too heavy.
Yes.
Terra Mystica is a crazy heavy game.
The three nominated were Legends of Andor, Bruges, and The Palace of Kara, which is a Kiesling-Kramer game.
Okay.
I have never played it, but it's Kiesling-Kramer. Yeah. So that tells you the pedigree of that game right there. The winner turned out to be The Legends of Andor.
Yes.
Which I don't disagree with, but I had a different pick, in all honesty, out of the three.
I agree with that. I think Legends of Andor rightfully wins.
I would have picked Bruges and give it to Stefan Feld.
Sure. Because
I think that is I've only played the more recent one, I'm not going to lie, but from what I've seen of the original Bruges to this one, it's not too much of a difference other than you get different stacks of cards instead of like one stack that you're drawing up.
Yeah.
But it's a multi-use card game that plays fantastic. It is well beloved, and to the point that people rather play the original version than the new version from the City Collection. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I think that should have won it. As much as I like Legends of Endor, I think it's a fine game. I just need to play it more for me to really dig into it, because I've only played the opening scenario like twice. Yeah. And so I need to play it a little bit more to really get into the love of it. But it is still being produced, and it's still getting expansions or different themes on it. There's like a winter one that just recently came out. So Legends of Andor was the winner. My pick was Bruges.
All right, 2014. Here we go. Why are we even flipping the coin? All right. The winner of 2014 was Camelot. And this was the very first year that I remember there being an active, hubbub about it. Because the nominees were Concept and Splendor.
What were the recommendeds?
I'll get into that in a moment.
Honestly, I would pick Splendor out of the three. I don't like Camelot. I am not going to deny my bias on that one. I do not agree with Camelot.
Everyone thought... Welcome back, Board Game Bard. Everyone thought Splendor was a shoo-in, and then the Dark Horse Camelot got it. But this was a very stacked year. I know you don't like one of these games, but the recommended was Battle Sheep, which I know, again, you don't like, but it's a very solid, interesting game. SOS Titanic, which is technically a solo game. It plays like Solitaire Klondike.
Yeah, you're showing that to me. Yeah,
really clever game. It is cooperative. And Love Letter.
Ooh.
Which would have been, if won, would have been the first Japanese designer winner, which only happened recently.
Happened recently. Well, we'll get to that a little bit later. I would have picked Splendor over Camelot. I honestly, I played like 50 racing games before I played Camelot.
Yeah. What about Love Letter? Would you have done that?
I would have picked Love Letter, but I'm only picking from the nominations, not the recommended.
But if it was all recommended?
If it was all recommended, probably Love Letter would have been my pick. The thing about the Love Letter is that it made a change in the gaming industry. Yeah. It hit like you wouldn't believe. And not only that, it showed that little small card games can do well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How many Love Letter versions are there out there? There's Batman, there's the Lord of the Rings, there's Cthulhu, who knows what else. So.
And it's not like that hasn't been unheard of, because literally the year before was Hanabi.
Yeah.
That's a tiny little card game. It's even tinier and littler card game. So that was 2014.
All right, so the one I have here for 2014, this is a doozy. I did not.
This was a strong year.
There was 4 recommendations and of course 3 games. So there's 7 games total in 2013. You have Russian Railroads, which I never played. Guildhall, which I never played.
I played
Bloodbound,
Guildhall.
I never played.
Yeah, right.
But Amerigo, which is another fail, I think it's like the 4th year he got recommended, which I like a lot. Amerigo was a fantastic game.
Yep.
Then, these are the nominations. Istanbul, Rococo, which I haven't played, but I heard really good things about that one.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And Concordia, which you and me adore.
Yes.
And that would have been my pick if it went up against anything other than Istanbul. Because, oh my God, Istanbul is such a fantastic game. And what it does is so unique. And that's why it's still my pick.
I agree. That 2014 was just such a strong
year, yeah.
Wasn't it? I mean, like, when you have Camel Up, Concept, Splendor, Love Letter, like, that was when the premium games were coming
Istanbul, out. Concordia, Rococo, Amerigo.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not Constantinople. No, definitely not. Yeah, no, I think it definitely should have won.
2014 is a strong year, but I like what Istanbul does. As much as I love Concordia, I think that was my dark horse pick, if anything. But I think Istanbul is such a fantastic Rudiger Dorn.
That's right.
I'm telling you, man.
Rudiger Dorn.
2015.
Change the coin. Here we go. Let's see if it changes. Yeah,
there we go. I finally get to talk for once. And here's another one that has a strong year. This is 2015. You have the nominations of Broom Service, Elysium, and Orleans. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Orleans, but I understand why people do like it. The bag building is really neat.
Not the biggest fan.
It's a fine game. I dig Elysium for its worker placement, card game kind of style game. But the recommendeds was also Deus, which is also a game that I really adore.
I have not played
Voyage of Marco Polo. We've played the second version of it, which is a fantastic game. It's one of the first games that I've ever played where if everything's overpowered, then it's balanced, and this is that. Then you also have Field of Arl, which I think is Uwe.
I think so.
Uwe Rosenberg, which I haven't played, but I heard really good things about it. But in all honesty, out of everything I talked about, the one I think should have won is the one that did win, which is Broom Service, which it was Pfister and Pelican. Yeah. I think it's a fantastic game because of the smart card play. I love the little push your luck aspect of it. And at its core, it's a very simple pick up and deliver game where you're just trying to deliver potions to certain towers. But the card play is such a fun mechanism where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to be cowardly and do something here. Just get a little bit of what I need. Just a little bit of movement or something like that. Compared to, say, something like, oh, I'm going to be brave this time around. You guys better not screw me over on this one. I love that card play. It's fantastic.
I'm of two minds. I think Elysium probably should have won. Voyage of Marco Polo should have won, actually.
Yeah.
I think that should have won. But if I had to pick from recommendation, probably Elysium.
I think Voyage of Marco Polo.
Broom Service I really enjoy. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, probably. Because I remember Elysium is still area control, but not really. And like the way you have to do it.
Elysium's not area control.
Am I getting it mixed up with a different one?
Yeah, because it is like you're just trying to get family members into your grouping.
Then maybe I haven't played Elysium then. I'm getting it mixed up with a different one then.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look here. Go on now.
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're trying to either get a set collection here. You know what? You're trying to collect those cards and put them in here in the numbers or put them into families.
I haven't played it.
It's a fantastic game. I love the game, but I only played it recently this year too. So
I want to try it now.
It is really neat, but I think Broom Service is the agreed winner here.
Yep. 2015 is a game you hate, Colt Express, but it went up against The Game and Machi Koro.
What are the recommendeds?
The recommendeds, 3 of the ones I thought were worth knowing. Patchwork. Again, they were scared about 2 players.
2 players, yeah.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
No.
Which I know why you don't like it. And Cacao by Phil Walker Harding.
I think my pick out of those, Colt Express is fine. It's neat what it does. Mm-hmm. My issue is I have sausage fingers, and those are like some tiny pieces when you're trying to get into that stupid trade. What were they again?
The Game and Machikoro.
Machikoro, I think, should have won. Even though I'm not a huge fan of that one either. I think Machikoro was the pick.
That's probably my favorite out of those, although I like all 3 of them.
I think The Game is my favorite out of the 3, but I think Machikoro should have been the winner.
I don't disagree. I remember already loving Machikoro, and then when Colt Express won, I was like, okay, now I gotta try it, and I played it, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, they do appreciate the silliness, but that came right the year after Camel Up, which is also a silly racing game, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
This is a pre-programming game, but I think it works well. I think it's just all kinds of silly. And it goes over really well with non-gamers, too. So I get it. They're going with that. What's more likely that somebody will just sit down and play something silly and have fun, and great table presence, so...
And so Colt Express you agree with?
Colt Express I agree with.
So Board Game Guard, I agree. 2010 to 2015 was an embarrassment of riches. It was a fantastic stretch of years.
Except for 2012.
Yeah, 2012 was a bit weird.
Las Vegas was cool.
Yeah.
All right, 2016. Here we go. That's mine. All right, 2016. Codenames 1. Talk about a game that's still being talked about.
They just got a 10-year anniversary, didn't they?
Yeah, I did. And it's really pretty.
It looks
I like
good.
the cover.
Doesn't change how the game looks at all, except for the outside.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to because it's a really solid game. The nominees, or the runner-ups, nominations were Imhotep and Karuba.
Ooh, wow.
And the recommended, Spyfall and Animal on Board, which I don't think you've played.
I haven't played that one.
I think those three were the correct
I think the Veer's reprinting that one, isn't it? My pick would have been Imhotep. That one is just a fantastic, simple game.
I think they made the right choice with Codenames, honestly. I really do. I think...
No accounting for taste, but sure.
No, I think what Codenames did was made it where party games were now acceptable in the Spiel Jahres, which led to much better ones later on.
That it did.
And don't get me wrong, I really like Codenames. I 100% agree with just that pick. As much as I like Imhotep and Karuba, I just don't think they're as strong.
All right, 2016. This is going to be an interesting one because there was some interesting on the in the Kennerspiel this year. Mm-hmm. So your winner was Isle of Skye, which is a fine little tile laying game.
Yeah.
It went up against Time Stories in Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
That's right. Oh, that's right. That was the year.
Yeah. And so also recommended was Seven Wonders Duel Mombasa in Blood Rage. This is a really strong year in the Kenner. Yeah, the 3 recommended are fine. I like what they did. Seven Wonders Duel is a fantastic one. Out of the recommended, that's probably my favorite of the 3 there. I've never played Mombasa, so I can't really talk about that one. I like what Time Stories did. I think it was a fantastic game. The only reason I have issues with it is that it got weaker as we were going down on it. Sure. And also my game grip just blew up, so I couldn't finish the storyline on that one. However, I disagree with Isle of Skye winning. I honestly think it should have gone to Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
100%.
Because it changed the game. Yeah, there was
Board Game Bard agrees with us.
Yeah. It changed the game. Risk Legacy, was the first one, but what it did for the genre of board games, you now have Clank Legacy, you have Ticket to Ride Legacy. Every game that is like a heavier Euros, or not a heavier Euro, just a very popular Euro, had some sort of form of legacy out there. Heck, they made Betrayal House on the Hill a legacy game, which was fantastic, and it's all because of this game. This specific game, Pandemic Season 1, changed the game in the gaming world, which is what it does. And I know we were talking about it earlier when I was talking about A Ticket to Ride Legacy. Yep. I do think Isle of Skye was the weaker of the 3 choices in this one to win. And back-to-back year for Fister Pelican is interesting to me because they won the Broom Service the year before. I think Pandemic should have won that one.
I agree. 100%, yeah. I mean, I think... Which one was available?
I think Pandemic won. Oh, Betrayal Legacy. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It
was
if
so
you find it, get it.
Yeah, it is so good.
2017. Here we go.
All right, you again?
Yeah. 2017. I'm scratching my finger somehow. All right. King Domino won for 2017, and that beat out Magic Maze and The Quest for El Dorado.
Honestly, I think the right one won because I don't care for the other 2. I mean,
yeah.
Quest for El Dorado is fine. It's a racing deck builder.
Yeah. Have you played Magic Maze or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played that, I think, in 2019.
Yeah. So Magic Maze.
I agree with you, Board Game Bard. I am meh on all of these.
Right. Magic Maze.
And I'm a Cathala guy.
Magic Maze is funny because it's also like the most aggressively angry. Like, it's the calmest thing, but the pawn that you can just put in front of somebody comes out with the hardest, most passive-aggressive, just angry gestures that end up because I've never had my gamers before get so upset because I was supposed to know how to do something that he took the pawn and just slammed it down in front of me and just went and stared at me. I was like, I don't know what I need to do. Like, why? I know I can only go left, but that doesn't make sense. Right? Like, what? I can't. I don't want to go left. It doesn't make sense. So it was so funny, but they hated that because of it. Now, there was 2 recommended that I wanted to bring up that you hate both of these. That you absolutely hate these. But one of them was also really innovative. There was both Clask.
I don't hate Clask. I don't know why you keep saying I hate Clask. I just have a hard time correlating it because my hand's under the table. I have to see my hand.
You've gone on rants on how much you dislike the game.
I don't dislike the game. I dislike how it plays.
Because you always punch the wall.
Yes, exactly.
And Fabled Fruit.
I don't think I've ever played Fabled Fruit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Fabled Fruit is an absolutely brilliant game. It's a really interesting design. Because essentially all you're doing is you're moving... You're trying to get ingredients cards, fulfilling orders, but it's what created the Fabled system, which the three smaller games, Flee, Fortress, and Fear, also used.
No, see, I don't like those.
But to lesser effect. And you also didn't like the other big box Fabled game, which was the Sandcastle.
Oh, yeah, that one I didn't like either.
But, I mean, Fabled Fruit is just such a smart game. I've started that game a number of times, and I've enjoyed it every single time. So...
Exactly.
Honestly, like... I think King Domino was the right choice.
Yeah, but this was like a weak Kenner. Or, I mean, Spiel.
A weak Spiel,
yeah. I think I like the fact that King Domino won because I'm a Cathala guy. I love Bruno Cathala. And for me, King Domino is like his weakest game.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
All right, going to our 2017 Kennerspiels. Your nominations were Exit the Game, and it was like 3 of them.
Yep.
Terraforming Mars, and what was the other one? Raiders of the North Sea, which also is a really good game. There was 4 recommended. I know one of them
so far the right game won.
Your favorite is in the recommended.
Really?
Captain Sonar. The Big Book of Madness was also recommended. Great Western Trail, In the Grizzled, which is... If I went into...
Okay, so I've played all those.
Yeah, if I went into the recommended, I think the Grizzled should have won. I like what it did. But for me, I agree. Exit should have won. And the right one won because it changed the game. Again, it's one of those things. This is what really made escape rooms in a box. But if I had to pick one just to talk about, I think it'd be Terraforming Mars. Just because I liked what it did. It is a much heavier game. And this is why they made the Kennerspiel. And I think it is really good. It's a very smart game.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like a physicist who made this game. Jacob Frixelius. Yeah. He's actually a doctor in physicians. He's got a PhD in physics. So this guy is really smart and made a really smart game. Honestly, I do agree Exit should have won. Or it should have won because, again, one of those things, it changed the board gaming. We were talking about how pandemic changed the board gaming industry. This also changed it. That we have unlocked. You have like a bunch of escape room board games. Yep. If you want to hear a fun rant about an escape room, go back into our June episodes. Someone goes on a bit of a rant over here. Yep. Biggest letdowns. Yep. So, but yeah, it was a strong on the Kenner side. On the Spiel side, it was kind of weak.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I was of mixed feelings for this one as well. Like, I think the right one won.
I agree.
I think Exit should have won. But here's the thing, right? Like, Captain Sonar is dope, and Board Game Bard agrees with me that Captain Sonar is dope. Although, here's the thing, you're gonna kind of think I'm crazy for this. I think Grizzled, out of all of those, was the one that should have won.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Like I said,
the reason I don't think Captain Sonar should have won is because I think that would have made more sense in the Spiel.
Okay, yeah.
And if that was in the Spiel, it should have won.
So the reason, like, any of my recommendations for winners comes from the nominees. I did not go into the recommended. I agree with you. I think the Grizzled should have done that. It told a good story. There was a sad story based off that game as well. Yep. I think it should have won. It did a fantastic job what it was doing. However, I think the right one did end up winning out of the nominees.
I think the 3 that should have been nominated was Exit, Grizzled, and Sonar. The rest are okay.
Yeah.
At best.
I like Team Mars, and that's why...
Yeah, Raiders of the North Sea is actually really good.
That one's fantastic.
I'm not playing it up enough. But
the issue with Raiders of the North Sea, it gets better with an expansion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right. 2018. Never played the Grizzled. It's a very unforgiving card game.
And it's a bit dark.
If you've played, like, The Coldest Night or... I guess Hanabi would be a good example. Like small package solo or cooperative games that are really tough on you.
Yeah.
Then you would probably like the Grizzled.
And also, get the smaller one because the Armiston edition is ridiculous for its price for minis that really don't do anything. Yeah.
But I do want to ask you, Board Game Bard, Since you said exit games universally disappoint, are any escape room in a box games ones that you do enjoy? Because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And I'll make recommendations later on. 2018, here we go. So yourself.
All right, 2018. This was a fun one. It's kind of weird. The 3 nominees were Quacks of Quedlinburg. You also had Heaven and Ale and Gone Sean Clever or That's Pretty Clever in America.
That's right. There was that controversy. It was like a roll and right.
Yeah.
Being, I get it.
I know it is a more complicated roll and write, just
Sure.
the way the dice are like mitigated and stuff like that. So you could take stuff out, and now people don't have a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
So I agree with what won. Yep. I think Quacks of Quedlinburg is a fantastic game.
Yep. Heaven and Ale is also really neat. There's some cool balancing with it.
But what I like about it is the recommended had Clank, the deck building game, or adventure, whatever it's called.
Sure.
As well as, what was the other one? Pioneers, which that's not the one I was thinking of, because I was thinking of the Tasty Minstrel game.
Check it real quick.
Is that what it is?
Might be.
Because I really did enjoy that one.
No,
it's a Queen game. Never mind.
I mean, I'm curious to play it.
But I think Quacks is the hands down the best one. For me, this is a weak Kennerspiel year. There was like really one good game out of all this. Like Clank's fine.
Yep.
Heaven and Ale, I heard, is really good. I haven't played that one. Gone Sean Clever is good, but it's just not a Kennerspiel nominee for me.
Yeah. All right, 2018 for the Spiel des Jahres, Azul won. Mm-hmm. Which, already there, we can stop talking. So, the nominees were Luxor and The Mind. I know your thoughts on The Mind, but Luxor, have you played that one?
No. Oh, wait.
It's a Rudiger Dorn.
We have.
And
we
it's
have
a
played
racing
that one.
game, right?
You have it, right?
You have a hand of 5 cards, and the card you play either the left or the rightmost movement card, and you move one of your meeples that many spaces.
Yeah.
Then you draw a single card to fit in right into the middle. So it plays out how, like, forcing different cards. The recommended were 5-minute Dungeon and Santorini.
Santorini's not too bad, but again, it's a 2-player game thing that they have an issue with at the time.
Yes.
Honestly, I think the best one was Azul. Man, 2016 was a weak year, or 2018 was a weak year.
I think Azul, hands down, was a shoe.
Azul and Quacks are like the best picks out of those two, out of everything we talked about. So those are the right ones to win.
Absolutely.
It was such a weak year.
Yep. They're both very solid. All right, 2019. Here we go.
All right, 2019 in the Kennerspiel, the winner being Wingspan. The nominations were Carpe Diem and Detective: A Modern Crime board game. Another weak year for my personal taste, other than the winner. And I agree with the winner. But you also had your least favorite game here, Architects of the West Kingdom, Lowlands, which I've never played, Newton, which I never played, and Paper Tales, which is a fun little card game, that kind of deck building where you're just trying
drafting.
Pick and pass drafting. That's right. It's a fine little card game. The art is fantastic in that game. But this is a bit of a weak year. I think Wingspan was the right one to win because, again, they changed the board gaming industry. It put Stonemaier was kind of on the map already with like Scythe and with other things, but Wingspan really blew them up.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Hargrave really blew up around this time. It also showed the love for nature games and how like you don't have to do what everybody's been doing lately with like the fantasy or witches or tile laying. Let's just play like a card tableau about birds, and it worked. But Wingspan is my pick. Architects is fine. I think that would have been another one.
Now I haven't played Lowlands or Newton yet. I've been curious about Newton, but I've played all 3 of the nominated. Carpe Diem and Detective. I both like both of them a lot. My issue is my least favorite out of those 3, but I think it's the right win.
And also, here's the thing with Carpe Diem. It should never have been nominated for the one simple reason. They've had to fix it twice already. It's on a 3rd edition. Yep. It's been out since 2019. It's already in a 3rd edition. So
it was in a 3rd edition by 2020.
I know. It's like, okay, if it's got that many issues, it's a fine game. It's actually,
I have Carpe Diem, the Whoops edition.
I have Carpe Diem, the beautiful edition, I guess you could say, because it's the white cover one.
Yep.
But it's still not one of my favorite fellows either. So
nature is the worst theme. Yuck. Yeah. No, I do think it should have been the one. Paper Tales is not a very good game. I despise Architects. Sorry, Board Game Bar. Don't hate me too much. And I haven't played the other 2, but Carpe Diem and Detective was great games. But again, I do think it should have won.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Detective. Detective was fine, but it wasn't the end-all be-all for me.
I already know your answer on this one. 2019 just won one.
Uh-huh.
And it was up against Llama and Werewords. That was the year of party games. 2 party games were nominated.
I'm fine with Werewords. I've never played it, but you know how I feel about the other one.
So one thing I've realized, and I think this was the first example, Werewords came out the same time, like that Incognito or whatever the game was from Oink, that was incredibly similar. I feel like that might have been a thing. When they catch wind of that, they're like, oh, okay, let's step back from it. And I hope that that's true later on. The 2 that I thought were notable were Reef and Imhotep the Duel.
I think Just On was the correct one.
Yep.
I think Imhotep the Duel would probably be my dark horse out of everything there. I despise Llama. I'd rather play Llama Dice. Llama just is a boring game. Which they're bringing to America in some weird name. I can't remember what it was, but it's
no, Llama's been out forever.
No, but they're bringing it. It's one of the Hasbro ones. Yeah, it's like Dump the Skunk or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I think just one should have won. Mm-hmm. I own both Werewords and Llama, and I like both of them a lot. Reef, I'm kind of surprised wasn't the winner, but I think they were really kind of going for more lighter games after having Azul. You'll notice there's a lot more focus on party games later on.
Okay.
So, that was just one I think should have moved on.
Yeah, 2019, now into 2020, the pandemic year.
Yep.
Oh wow, what was that?
I don't know.
Back to you.
Yep. 2020. Pictures was the winner of that. As we know, everyone still talks about. But here's the thing. Okay. This, I feel, out of all the years we talked about, was the weakest year.
Probably was.
Because My City and Nova Luna were the runner-up.
Oh, I did not like Nova Luna.
Nova Luna was okay at best. My City is fine.
It should have
been a legacy game. Yeah. Honestly, it's not a legacy game. You just introduce more stuff. That's all it is. It shouldn't be a legacy game. But the recommendations, the 3 that I thought were worth pointing out, Color Brain was one. Which, do you know what Color Brain is?
Nope.
So you have pictures of, or you all have a hand of like 13 cards and they're just different colors. And like the Disney version is a good example. Like let's say Mickey is your character, right? You have to pick cards that you think represent Mickey. So you pick black and white and probably red for his shorts, right?
Oh, dear God. And
you have to put them in that order. So it's like black, white, and then red. And you put them in whatever order you think. Fox in the Forest.
Okay, that was fine. That was
a good one. Yeah. And Draftosaurus.
That was another good one.
Yeah.
I think the recommended are stronger than the winner.
I think they're all fine.
Yeah.
I think Pictures, unfortunately, was the strongest out of those.
Sure.
I agree with not choosing Nova Luna or My City.
I have not played anyone but Nova Luna, and I was very disappointed in Nova Luna, so sure, Pictures is the best one.
And you haven't played Pictures, have you?
Nope.
You know, like, Pictures is kind of cool, like, honestly, because you have a bunch of pictures in front of you, and you're just trying, it's kind of like a Codenames-esque, or you're trying to portray something with just, like, ridiculous objects. Like, one person has, like, a little 3x3 grid of, like, colored cubes. One person is trying to, like, use string and kind of draw out their picture. One person is using, like, sticks and stones, you know. It's kind of alright, you know, it's neat how it works, and I appreciate. It's a unique take on that style of game, although that's not a totally unique game. So,
sure, if you say so.
I don't disagree.
You've told me how this game works multiple times, and you have not sold me on it.
No, I don't think I will. But compared to those,
and like Board Game Bard says, I'll take none of those for $400, Alex.
I think that would have been the winner. No, you know what should have won that year? Can't Stop.
Should have been
nominated again
for the 3rd time.
That's right.
All right, so in 2020 in the Kennerspiel, you had Cartographers, The King's Dilemma, In the Crew, Quest for Planet 9, in the Kennerspiel pick.
Okay.
Now, I do like The Crew, and I think it's a fantastic game. It won that year.
Yeah.
You also had Paladins of the West Kingdom, which is a very crunchy West Kingdom, and this is where I honestly think the Garp Hill really took a turn because that is such a heavy Euro game. Mm-hmm. Like there was like one more in the West Kingdom series, and then they went straight into the heavy games. Yeah. Then you had Res Arcana and Underwater Cities. I think Underwater Cities was still a little overcomplicated for the Kennerspiel. Res Arcana was fine, and honestly, that probably would have been my my winner out of that year. Mm-hmm. I think the Crew is a fine pick for the Kennerspiel. I personally would have picked Cartographers, but we know how they feel about the flip and right and the roll and rice things. I think a lot of the time it did really well what it was supposed to from Jordi Adon and Thunderworks game. Honestly, I could see the King's Dilemma. If I had played that, I probably would have recommended it. That's probably your pick.
Maybe we should, yeah. I mean, because I've only played like the first round of it, and I was really impressed with it. I'm very intrigued to do it, but I think one of the weird things about it, this is 2021?
Yeah, or 2020.
2020. One of the weird things about it is that it really does go in, like, the King's Dilemma is a very strong dilemma. You have to argue for stuff that, you would not be for...
Against your actual nature.
In actual nature. But you're playing as a character, and that's okay. But that is hard for people. That's why it's in the Connoisseur game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's probably my favorite. I didn't like Cartographers that much. It was okay. I thought it was decent that it was nominated. Yeah. And I thought it was also all right. Like, the Crew is... We talk about it. It's all right.
You know what my biggest memory of the Cartographers is? Is when hey, congratulations, we told this to Keith Mateka on our interview way back in the day. He's like one of the first persons we interviewed. He's like, oh, yeah, it's cool. It's not big for us here in America, but it's still neat.
Like, that'll sell better for us in Europe.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but I don't disagree that the Crew probably should have won. No, I think it should have been the King's Dilemma. You know what? I'm standing by that. Because the Crew was too light.
Yeah, it's fine for what it does. Yeah, no, it's a good class, but it's not perfect. You know what I mean? I personally would have gone Cartographers because, it's a nice little roll and write. I love the little aspect of the drawing. Again, I have a bit of a personnel to it because it's one of those games that helped us got through the pandemic because it was so easy to run that game over the internet because all my friends had to do was print out some sheets which were up on Board Game Geek, and I think they still are, where you can print them out,
which is awesome,
and they can do their part of the game, and then we could just count up the scores and stuff like that, which was real simple. And so that's why it was my pick, is like that was the pandemic year that got me through the pandemic, just like Just One did in 2019. So
that's right. 2021. Here we go. We're ending this pretty soon. 2021. I'm trying to pick a coin that'll like you.
No, they don't like me today.
They hate you, Dick. Micro Macro Crime City was the winner, and that went up against Adventures of Robin Hood and Zombie Teens Evolution.
That is a weak nomination, in all honesty. I'll pick Micro Macro. I never played The Adventures of Robin Hood. I had it at one point. Never got it to the table. It looked fine. The Zombie Kids, you showed me how that played, and I'm like, sure, whatever.
Zombie Teens.
Zombie Teens, whatever. I know there's Zombie Kids.
Is a lot simpler.
Yeah.
That's why.
But there's Zombie Teens as well, yeah.
Sure.
Honestly, yeah, it's fine. I agree with the win.
Yeah. You're going to like the recommendations then. The Switch and Signal, which you haven't seen yet, or you haven't played yet. It's a cooperative pick up and deliver. Very smart game. And Point Salad.
Oh, God. Yeah, I guess my pick out of everything was Point Salad, but...
No, I think the right one won on this.
Sure.
I really do like The Adventures of Robin Hood. I played a number of it. It's very similar to Legends of Andor in that aspect, right? It's, but instead of like a scenario of trying to survive, you're going through like an adventure book. And it's a really clever game and a beautiful production. Zombie Teens Evolution, like once you started adding in, like as you're playing it again, because it is a legacy game technically, as you unlock some of the more advanced stuff, it becomes a more legitimately like tricky game. It's an interesting co-op. But Micro Macro, I just like it a lot. But I'm also of two minds because even though I'm glad it won, there was also parts of it that wasn't like kid friendly. And this was supposed to be the family game. Mm-hmm. And this is basically like a game version of Where's Waldo. And so there was less game in it and more activity. So, I mean, if I considered that, then it probably would have been Adventures of Robin Hood, if that was a factor for me. But, yeah, I mean, Micro Macro, I own all 4 of them, plus the box set puts them all together, which is wild.
Yeah, I didn't mind Micro Macro. I might not keep my copy of the original game. It's fine for what it is, but it's not something I agree with.
If you him and haw, get rid of it.
Yeah,
right.
But it's more along the lines like if something's coming in, that's probably one of the first ones to go out. So.
Yep, probably.
So then I have to talk about the 2021. So this was a strong year, even in the recommended list. Let's go into the recommendeds real quick. There's Rift Force, which is a 2-player game that I heard is actually pretty good.
Really clever game. Yep.
Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, which is a fantastic game. I'm a Gloomhaven guy, so yep. But I liked what it did because it teaches you the game in the first 5 scenarios, which is a fantastic way to onboard. Barrage, which is a heavier game, and Aeon's End, which is a neat little deck builder game where we played a version of it called Astro Knight, where you don't shuffle your deck. It's just like you try to set up your discard pile and then you flip it over and that's your new deck.
Yeah. Which
is a cool little twist to deck building because you discard a certain way this way. You know it's coming up more.
Right.
But the nominations were Paleo, which is a game we adore.
Yes.
Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is a game we adore. In Fantasy Realm, which is a game we adore.
You adore.
No, you don't like Lost Ruins of Arnak?
It's fine.
Oh.
I liked it. It got much better with the expansion. Oh, the first time I played it, I was like, this is a solid 6.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it's the same reason that we've talked about in previous episodes. You could, as long as you stick to the tech track, you're going to win.
That is its weak point, yeah. And
that was the only way I won. I never explored anything, which is kind of the point of the game.
I do like Paleo. I think it's a fantastic pick for the Kennerspiel. I actually picked Lost Ruins of Arnak to win because I like what it does better. And yes, I agree, the expansion's made it 10 times better. And it does fix the whole track system aspect of it. But when I first played it, even with the track system issue, I adored it.
Yeah.
And I adore Paleo, and I think it's a fantastic game. I have played Lost Ruins of Arnak so much more than I have Paleo, to the point where, like, this is a co-op game with different scenarios, and I've only played the first scenario, like, 3 times.
I've played much more Paleo. Because I don't own Lost Ruins, so that's probably why, right? Yeah. But Paleo is one of those ones where, like, once you showed us, I was like, I gotta buy that.
Here's my issue with Lost Ruins of Arnak, too, and the reason why I play it more. It's a game my wife will ask for me to take over to play, and
as long as you just say your wife wants to play it, then you know.
Yeah, it's gonna get play. Yeah,
she doesn't like Paleo,
but I adore Lost Ruins of Arnak, and remember, because of that expansion, it actually unseated Dune Imperium for me as my favorite of the 2. Dune Imperium was sitting as my favorite for a while, and then it added that Leaders expansion. It's like, wow.
Yep.
That's what it needed to begin with. But like I said, I don't mind Paleo as the winner, but I think it's Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Right, I agree.
But 2021 was a strong year on the Kenner side of things.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, Rift Force is a little too easy for it. I guess I get it, but it's a 2-player head-to-head kind of thing.
Don't even get me started. We're going to get on some easy ones here.
Yeah, Fantasy Realms, I think that should have been nominated for the Spiel.
Yeah, I think Fantasy Realms should have been.
I get why it wasn't, but I feel like it should have been. Anyway, 2021 here.
Arnak is gross, but I haven't played with X. Yep, you again, huh?
Apparently. 2022. The top 3 nominated were Top 10, Scout, and Cascadia.
Which one was it again? Say it again.
2022, Top 10, Scout, and Cascadia.
Oh, I thought you said top 10. I'm like, wait, what? No, but that's the actual game. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Scout and Cascadia, huh?
Yep.
2 of those things are good. I don't know what top 10 is. I think it's like a little card game.
It's kind of like you had a number from 1 to 10, and you're trying to put ones in certain spots. It was never brought to America. And it seems cool, but yeah, it was kind of.
This is actually a tough one because I adore both of these games. Honestly, I like Scout a lot, but I think Cascadia is the right pick.
This was the only year I put this, or one of the few years I put this many recommended games. There was Trek 12.
That's good, Cthulhu.
Echoes, which I thought was a really innovative game. Seven Wonders Architects.
That was a fantastic one.
And So Clover.
Another good one. Honestly, I think So Clover should have gone into the Kenner because it was like a next step of just one. Because you have that extra card.
I don't consider it difficult, though.
It can be because you have that. Yeah, I think it's connoisseur more than it is Spiel because it's not that simple.
I don't think so. I think it's simpler than Cascadia, and I think Cascadia is right for Spiel.
It is not simpler than Cascadia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Making up words is. I'm not saying I played actually So Clover the other day, and I had a clue that said magic cheese. I was like, what am I gonna... Magic cheese? Like, and then, like, roof vacation, you know? Like, I love So Clover. It's so good. I'm just saying, like, that's not that hard. Like, I mean, it breaks your brain trying to come up with a word, but
apparently he agrees with you, because you're Blue Daniel.
Yeah. Functionally, that's not a hard system, right? You know, like, it's a very simple game. It's just hard to come up with really good clues.
Just for future reference, Board Game Bard, he's Daniel too, because I was Daniel first.
I think Cascadia was the right pick, though.
I think really Cascadia is the right pick.
Yep.
But that was a pretty strong year for the Spiel.
I mean, you know me and my tile laying, and I think they were coming back to form with Cascadia.
In 2023, or we're on 22, right? 22.
Yep.
Was an interesting year when it came to the Kennerspiel, because I like everything that was here. The nominations were Dune Imperium, Cryptid, and Living Force. No, all three games are good games. I enjoy every single one of those. The recommended list was Witchstone, which we both enjoyed, but it was a very
difficult to
for
play,
us to see, because it was so colorblind friendly. It was uncolorblind friendly. Korra, Rise of the Empire, never played. And Arc Nova, which I don't disagree with it not getting nominated, because it's a really, really heavy game. And
actually,
not only that,
I think I have played Korra, and it was so unforgettable. I don't remember it. But I'm fairly certain, because our friend Dom is a big fan of that game, and I'm pretty certain I played it.
I don't know if I played it. I don't remember. And then finally, going back into the nominations, the winner of that year was Living Force, which we enjoy. I think it's good.
I 100% agree with that pick.
I don't.
You think it should have been Cryptid?
I think it should have been Cryptid. What Cryptid does in a deduction style of game, even at 3 players, works well, which is something it's unheard of in deduction games, where at 3 players you're like, that is very clever. What it does in that system is so clever. It's like, there's one spot in the entire board, how you set it up, that works. And you're like, I think it's here. Mm-hmm. And you go around the table, and they're like, no, yes. And then you end up winning the game. Or you're asking questions, and you're getting information, and I'm giving information based on my question I'm asking. Could it be here? Someone tells me no, and I'm asking them directly. And that sort of thing. And I have to give information. I love what Cryptid did. As much as I like Living Forest, and I think it's a fine game, and it's like, it's, in a sense, race to 12 of one of the different tracks that you can do. And you have to make sure you still have a victory token in that specific track. And so everybody's trying to steal those victory tokens away from you. This way they can't guarantee the win. Is really neat. Cryptid is such a smart game compared, and that is a connoisseur game. Living Forest, fine. There's ways that you do really well, and then there's some ways where you're just like, oh, okay, I got hosed there. Yeah. Cryptid, that is connoisseur. You have to be a thinker. You have to be smart on that, and that's why I think it should have won that year. Yeah, Board Game Bard agrees with me.
I agree with 100% of what you said. I feel like Living Forest just hit that extra spot that I felt like Kennerspiel deserved. I don't have a way to describe why I think that. There was just something about when I played, I'm like, yep, this is why this is here.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
And I wish I could say why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're getting back into our little controversy here, which I'm going to probably go on a rant, and I warned the wife about it when we were talking about this episode.
2023?
2023.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Yeah. All right, here we go.
And I get to start. All right. 2023, this is where they got it wrong. This game, which won, Challengers, shouldn't have been even nominated in the Kennerspiel. The other two were Planet Unknown and Icky. The recommended in this year was also Council of Shadows, fine game. I have issues with it.
I like it. Yeah, not colorblind friendly.
Well, that's not just that. If you get a goal, something like that, and it kind of screws you over if you don't get something that's really cool compared to everybody else.
We don't mention 2023 is
and Mindbug First Contact, which is a good little 2-player card battling game. It's fine, but Challengers should not have been the Kennerspiel winner. I am sorry. I would have been okay, and I haven't even played one of the other games. It is too light for the connoisseur games, to the point where they had to correct it and go with a really heavy game the next year, which we'll get into in a little bit. But Challengers, I like the game. Don't get me wrong. It's basically war with a little bit of deck building. It's like, my card beats your card. We're good. And I got to make sure I have enough bench space. And so that's how I got to build my deck, just slightly. Should not have been a Kennerspiel. It could have been recommended in the nominee for the Spiel Jahres winners, and I would have been fine. Planet Unknown was my pick to win that year because it hits all the right notes. Going up tracks, asymmetrical powers, tile laying games. Challengers should not have been the winner. Bad. Oh, so frustrated with that one still to this day.
I know. It makes you like the game because we both like Challengers a lot.
We like it a lot. I just
but yeah, I agree. It shouldn't have been that.
So your pick is what, Planet Unknown as well? Or what is your pick for the Kenner of 2023?
Yeah, Planet Unknown. Planet Unknown's a brilliant game.
The track system, the asymmetrical powers, the tiling.
Brilliant.
Over war with slight deck building.
Yeah. 2023 was... The three that were nominated were Dwarf Romantic, Fun Facts, and Next Station London. I own all three of those.
I've only played one of them, and honestly, I'm fine with who won it because I think Dwarf Romantic, what it did well.
Yeah. Yeah, Dwarf Romantic was a really clever little cooperative tile laying game. Which, again, they were kind of sticking with tile laying. I get that. Mm-hmm. And they really liked cooperative. I put 5 of them recommended on here for a reason. And now, hindsight is, again, 2020. In 2020...
I think I played Next Station. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a clever game. You had to do different colors.
We have played this one. Okay.
Yeah. And each board works differently because, like, you had to start at a different spot for each round. It was really clever. So here's the 5 recommended that I put on the list. And I'm purposely saying them in this order. Okay, first off, Acropolis.
Haven't played that one, but I heard good things.
Yeah, it's a simple little game. QE.
That was actually a fun game.
That's Not a Hat.
No.
I know. Sea Salt and Paper.
I really do enjoy that one, but I don't think that should have been a Spiel winner.
And again, we didn't know about this game at the time. Hitster.
Oh, that should have won.
It's like, if we had known about Hitster,
that one would
Hitster.
No, but I agree, though, because of the app integration and stuff like that, they've been very hesitant when it comes to any of the I think the Kinder is the only one that had, like, any app assistance that won a game, so... Mm-hmm. Out of the 3 that got recommended, maybe Next Station, I agree with Board Game Bard on that one, but Dwarf Romantic I'm fine with, too. So
I put Hitster as should have been my pick.
Yeah.
I mean, because,
we adore
again, having known what I know...
We're music buffs, so that's...
It's my choice. I'm saying that I should have won. I don't disagree. I actually really liked Dwarf Romantic. It wasn't until I played the board game or heard about it that I played the video game, and I like both. They're both really clever. But yeah, what a weird year.
It really was.
2024. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
2024. The Spiel nominees were Captain Flip, In the Footsteps of Darwin, and Sky Team. There was also three recommended that I wanted to bring up: Harmonies, Trio, and Trekking Through History. I remember hearing so much buzz about how Trekking Through History should have been nominated. Not just a recommendation list.
Board Game Bard is recommending moving the Spiel Committee and putting it on us.
If only we knew German.
Yeah, exactly. But... Ooh, wow, that's a good lineup. Can you do the nominated again?
Yeah, Captain Flip, In the Footsteps of Darwin, and Sky Team.
I think the right one won with Sky Team. I think it's a fantastic game. I 100%. Like what it does.
Yep.
I still really do enjoy In the Footsteps of Darwin the most out of all 3 of those nominations. And pretty much all 6 of those, too, that you've mentioned. Or was it?
And there was a bunch I actually recommended, but those are the 3 that I thought I was like, oh, okay. You know, because Harmonies wasn't really big here yet until like the following year.
And that is a good game. I do like it. I actually don't disagree with anything on this list. I personally like In the Footsteps of Darwin more. Yeah. I love just how simple it is and how well it works. For a game that I was like, oh wow, this is so simple.
Yeah. My only gripe with it, which I really like it too, and I'm going to keep it in my collection for a long time, it almost feels too clean. You know,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, like everything is just so like it's obvious. Yeah. Like it's like I can get 4 points for this. I can get up to 3 points for this. Cool. But if I play my cards right, I'm still going to get 3 points for this. Like, there's no dynamics that I feel like really set it apart. Whereas Sky Team is just like overwhelming tension the whole game.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Trekking Through History, I think, should have been nominated. And I was charmed by Captain Flip.
And Captain Flip was a fun game, yeah. Honestly, I don't know who you would take out to put Trekking Through History in.
The Footsteps is what I would trade it with.
Honestly, I put Trekking Through in the Kenner just because that ratchet mechanism's not that simple.
Sure.
And then the way you have to do the timeline, but it would have done well in the Kenner scale, too.
I think Trekking Through History was still simpler than Sky Team.
I don't disagree.
It's still simpler than... it wasn't as simple as Challengers, which arguably, let's not talk about that.
Let's not go back to 2023. We're in 2024, all right? Let's go there.
2024.
All right, so we have the eventual winner, Daybreak, Matt Leacock. We also have nominations of the Guilds of Merchant Explorer, which is Dustin and Gilbert. And then you also have Ticket to Ride Legacy of the West, or Ticket to Ride Legacy Legends of the West, which is a fantastic game. In the recommended side of things, you had Ritual, Force Shuffle, Botanicus, and I don't even know what that is, Bière Ponnière or whatever. I like the nominated list. I like every single one of those games. Daybreak is fine. I don't think it should have won. I think it was way too complicated for what it is.
Yes.
Out of the three, as much as I like Guilds of Merchants Explorer, I think it should have been Ticket to Ride.
I think it should have been Guild of Merchants Explorers, personally. Okay. The only bad part about Guild of Merchants Explorers was how poorly they chose the graphic design.
Yeah. Oh God, it was so ugly.
That was the only one. And don't get me wrong, like we're gonna go into more on what the review, but the fact of how badly it took my wife out of that game and made her pretty much she doesn't want to play Ticket to Ride anymore.
That was like one of her
because of the
games.
legacy game. Yeah. Like any game that'll do that. And I just recently watched like an interview with Rob Davio talking about like game design and how it was like you don't want to make a legacy game like end up like having one person's run away with it. And I won like 6 of the first 8 games. So it's like whatever he didn't do, well, it made it way too easy for me. Like, and it took just so much out of it that I'm glad that it didn't win. Like, I sound like I hate it. I don't. I liked it. Yeah. But it's just when it like the same reason why like you don't like some games just because your wife like ruined it because she was like, I hate it so badly. And you're like, well, if my wife isn't going to play it with me, what's the point of me owning it kind of thing? That's kind of me for Ticket to Ride now, Legacy. And that's why I'm like, I think Guild of Merchants Explorers should do it. Because Daybreak, I don't think was outstanding either. Yeah.
And my thing is, like, when it comes to Ticket to Ride Legacy, the difference for me as well is, like, I kind of disagree with you. Yeah, you got 6 wins, but... That's fine. We actually almost had a good even split on wins. I won like 4 or 5 games. My other friend won a few games. My wife never won a single game except for the very last game. And she still came in second place overall. Yep. So she still had a strong showing even though she's only won 1 game. Yep. So it's just like...
You know why you hate on... Pandemic Legacy Season 1 now for that very reason. That's the exact same with my wife.
I don't disagree. Right? I don't disagree. I'm just saying, like, we had a different experience on that. Like, my wife was, like, getting frustrated that she wasn't winning the game, and she still came in second place, so... Yep. And she wasn't getting frustrated. She was just like, how do I do so well? And this is, like, all my best scores, and I still come in second place and stuff like that. Yep. But she came in second place a lot in that game, and still... Yeah. But she's had some bad games too, so it's like there was points where she was the caboose a couple times, and it happens. But we had a good experience. That's why I think it should have been there. If a Legacy should have gotten it, I think it should have been Pandemic. But
I agree. Yeah.
My issue with Guilds of Merchants Explorers is just that it's too bland. Like the gameplay is fine. The gameplay is fun to a certain extent. I like everything it did. It just didn't do enough for me to unseat Ticket to Ride. And Daybreak, I agree, was just fine as well.
I think it, like, so because of the fact that you use different sets of cards, like, throughout every time you play it, I think because of the fact that it's so hard for us to play is the reason why we haven't been able to delve more into it and enjoy it more. I think that's really what it is. I bet there's printable versions of the maps now,
but to me, it's also just cubes on a map more than anything. Yeah. And so it's like, I'm just expanding from here to here. That's all it really is. Yeah. It's just cubes on the map. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Going to 2025, which is the most recent winners.
There we go.
And I finally get to start one at the end. All right, so your nominations were actually a great group of games.
Yep.
We played all 3 of them. Oh, no, you haven't played Endeavor yet.
I haven't played Endeavor.
Endeavor, Deep Sea, Far Away, and Loot. Like it's Ghost or something like that. It's such a weird name for me.
It's like boop.
Yeah.
You know?
But at least it works with Boop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right behind me. So is Endeavor. It's right behind his head. But the recommended were strong too. You had Zenith, Medical Mysteries, New York City, Emergency Rooms. Like, I haven't played any of these, Corey, except for one. The Game, which I like a lot.
Yes.
I think it's a fantastic game. I agree with the 3 that got nominated. I picked Loot to win because I thought that's what they usually go for, especially after Daybreak, a heavier game winning it. I didn't think they were going to go heavy back to back.
Nope.
Prove me wrong on that aspect of it, which is fine because Endeavor is my favorite of the 3. I think it is a fantastic game. It's got a lot of stuff you like in a game. It's got sea. You like the theme of deep sea.
Themes,
yeah. Nautical themes.
Exploration is so cool.
It has exploration for that matter.
Yep.
It has a track system. It has variable player powers in a sense where you get different people in your group.
Yep.
It is a fantastic game, and so for me, I am fine with it as the pick, and that is my pick. Now, again, if you remember going earlier in the year, I picked Loot to win, and it's just because I thought that is what they were going for. It's very quick, snappy, simple turns with a lot of depth, and that is what a lot of these Kennerspiels were back in the day. Quick, simple, snappy turns with a lot of depth. Endeavor is still a fantastic game, and I agree with every bit of it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to trying it, but yeah, out of the 2 I've played, Loot, I thought should have won, but apparently they're going heavier this year.
Yeah,
they're only up to it. All right, the final one we have here is the most recent Spiel Jahres winner. The 3 that were nominated were Crackle or Rackle, Flip 7, and Bomb Busters. Also in the nomination list was Castle Combos and Cities.
Oh, dang. I'd rather move those 2 in the nominations and take the 2 that lost in the nominations down.
Sure.
Like, Flip 7's fine. I like what it does, but I have issues with it. Crackle or Rackle, it's another, like, drawing or painting game out there. It's fine. I agree with Bomb Busters. I think that's a fantastic game. I want to delve more into it. I've only played, like, the first 3 scenarios or something like that. And honestly, I really like Castle Combo. I think that's a fantastic game.
I need to play it again. I've only played it once and I did enjoy it, but I want to play it again. So, here's the thing, right? Crackle Rackle, a lot of people said it didn't make sense that it was nominated. No, it very much did. It very
First
much did.
Spiel, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because you have pictures, which is kind of the same idea, a very restrictive way to convey information. You have Barbarossa, again, that's like a clay version or a Play-Doh version of like trying to do that. Like, that's been around since the 80s, so that makes sense. But so I get why Crackle or Rackle was nominated. The obscure card game category, Flip 7 fit into that, right? You have like Llama and the Gang and all those. But one thing I've...
No. The Gang was in a Kinder.
I'm sorry, not the Gang.
Right?
The Mind and the Game. But Flip 7, I've noticed that there has never been a Push Your Luck winner for Spiel Jahres. Except for Liar's Dice.
Perudo. Yeah.
That's the only one. And it's really more of a bidding one than Press Your Luck.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been an actual proper Press Your Luck game that has ever won the
Even
award.
though Can't Stop got nominated twice.
Even though Can't Stop got nominated twice. Should have won. So Bomb Busters, 100% I agree with this pick. I think Bomb Busters, because of the way that they're now working with cooperative deduction, like...
And the first Japanese winner, too.
And the first Japanese winner finally takes it, yeah. And he seems so humble. Hisashi Ayashi seems like a really humble guy.
Yeah.
Like, super, super polite. I 100% agree with that pick. Bomb Busters was my choice, and I'm glad it won. And now, knowing how much time that they put into, like, tile laying games leading up to this point, and now they're working on cooperative, 5 out of the last 7 games have been cooperative that have won. Eric Martin pointed that out.
That is crazy.
Right after Azul, out of those 7 games since Azul, 5 of them were cooperative. So keep that in mind for next year. Anyway.
So I have an interesting thing for you real quick.
Yeah.
I have one game I think is probably going to get on a recommended list next year. I don't know if it's going to be in the Kennerspiel recommended. At least recommended. It could be nominated for all I know. Yep. And it could be on the Spiel Jahres. I honestly think Freeman Freeze gets fishing as a recommended at minimum. I think
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I
believe it.
You heard it here first. Back in August.
You're calling it now, and you're calling a Freedom and Freeze game.
Yeah, it is such a good game to the point where my wife, that was her pick of the game night. So
yeah, that was your pick of the game night too.
Yeah,
I showed it to you. Yes, finally getting you on the Freedom and Freeze train.
Yeah, it's not going to last long.
No, I know.
You've made me play way too many Freedom and Freeze.
But you're warming up to it, like Knizia games, right?
More so Knizia.
Yeah, more so Knizia, but now I'm getting a few in there. So,
all right, Board Game Barb. Challenge question for you. What type of board game award is missing from the landscape?
Innovative. I mean, like, I know Origin, or one of them does.
Oh, but Dice Tower has innovative.
Yeah, but I don't think that they do. I don't think they legitimately pick innovative stuff. It's too often that they'll pick stuff that are like...
You know what I think is missing from the Board Game Awards? True, legitimate solo games. Everything either has a solo expansion in it, but there is no true solo games.
Yep.
It's like, who got nominated as like this one game is a massive game. Got nominated for solo because it has a solo module in it. Yeah. Where you don't have the love for like something like Final Girl or I just recently got Onata from Salt and Pepper Games. So these are true solo games that's just made for a single player experience.
Yeah. No, I mean like, but then like Onirim wouldn't be categorized as that because it's a one or two
player.
Right? Yeah. Neither could that time you've been eaten. You know, that's 0.
That is true.
But right. But I think it needs to focus more on ones that are primarily
solo. Just solo. Like
and I think Ravel should be nominated.
Like For Northwood is a fantastic solo deck, not deck building, trick taking game.
Brilliant game.
Most of that company, Side Room Games, do really good, just straight solo games, and that is what's missing. Because, and again, I can handle like if a Myram or something like that get like a 1 to 2 player gets that kind of nomination because it's made for that.
Right.
Whereas something like Expeditions here from Stonemeyer Games, as much as I like that game, it has a solo Automa system in there, could get nominated in a solo mechanism.
Yeah.
It's like, at minimum, if it can hold 2 players, sure, I'm fine with it in a true solo mechanism because it's built with 1 player to maybe hold 1 more player. Whereas like Endeavor has a solo mechanism. Expedition has a solo mechanism. In fact, I think Endeavor was nominated for a solo. I don't know if it was Board Game Geek or in the Dice Tower Awards.
Probably Board Game Geek, yeah.
So it's like, really? Come on. Give me a true solo experience. Something that's not going to take up like 50% of my table.
Yeah.
Give me something that's right here in front of me that I can play like in a hotel room table or my personal favorite, on an airplane tray.
Yeah.
So.
I stand by my innovative.
No, I don't disagree.
You interrupted me before I could
explain
my thoughts. It's fine.
I'm sorry, it just made me think solo, and I got.
But now I got thinking about it because during your rant I spaced out and I was thinking about my own category. And no, I was thinking about it. Innovative doesn't make sense to nominate games that are brand new.
Yeah.
Innovative, you should be planning games way down the line, like 5-10 years. Mm-hmm. Just saying, like, is this game like? Because Dominion should have won innovative game, but they didn't know that at the time, right? Because it was like, oh, it's just a deck builder. No, it created deck building essentially. You know, like that was a really innovative system, right? You know, the legacy games that should be on the top of every innovation, right? Because that created a system, right? Yeah. Ones that use app integration and stuff, that was innovative. Rise of Dark Tower was innovative, right? Because of that technology. So that's my rant. So
I also agree with you on that aspect. I think another one that is kind of missing too, because they get nominated, but they don't get a lot of love. Yeah. Maybe some rolling rights or flipping rights or Xing right, whatever you want to put in there, because some of them have some really unique stuff out there that they get nominated, but then they get beat up by their bigger systems.
They should have a trick-taking category.
Yeah, there's too many damn trick-taking games.
That's what I'm saying. Start categorizing them.
So, but my big rant, solo games. I think they need a true solo category, not games that have a solo module in it.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. So, with that being said, we hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you ever want to email us, you can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. And you can email us for ideas for future episodes, enter in future contests, or even just to say hi. We love getting that correspondence. Also, we have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames.
All video re-uploads and reviews are found on youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on that platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. And please make sure you follow us there so that way you are notified when we join live. We love it when people join in on the chat, like our friend Board Game Bard and anybody else who joined in today.
As well as all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.